Hello and welcome back to the Bright Life Podcast. I'm Jessica Johnson, I'm your host, and if you haven't yet, make sure you check out our new YouTube channel where I've been trying to be really intentional about adding these podcast episodes. So if you're watching here, hello, welcome, thanks for joining us. Make sure you subscribe, and if you're listening to the podcast, then click subscribe as well so you can listen on iTunes or Spotify or whatever you prefer. So today's podcast episode is all about what you fear is the feeling. So if there's any task that you are holding back from doing, or you find yourself procrastinating around, or you don't know why you get so in your head about actually sending the email or pitching the client or asking the person out or going to the gym or whatever it is, then this has been a life-changing lesson for me to realize. What you fear is the feeling. What you fear isn't actually the task itself, but the feeling behind it. So this whole episode, I'm going to share why that is and how that can change your life and make it a lot easier to do that thing that you've been putting off so you can get to that next chapter or level of your life. So we'll talk about that, give you some practical steps to move through it, and then definitely let me know in the comments what thing you've been holding off on that now you realize you can separate a little bit more and feel some distance from. All right, so here we go. So whenever I was in my business, starting things out and, just like doing a lot of new things, I would catch myself really overthinking things a lot, like really stressing about sending a certain email, like I said, pitching a client, going on stage, like things like that, but even little things that really shouldn't be that scary, right? Just even the daily actions of like posting on social media. And so I started to catch myself and get curious about that habit. And what I realized that helped me move through it was separating the task from all the feelings and emotions that I created around it. So for example, with sending an email, you are pressing a button on a keyboard. It's not actually that scary to press a button on a keyboard, right? But our brains can come up with all kinds of stories around how scary this thing is to be pitching a client or sending an email that you've been waiting to send. And so the task itself, though, pressing the key, is actually quite simple. And so for me, it helped me to just separate the two, because once they were separate, I could much more easily convince myself to just press the key on the keyboard and to realize that whatever came up was really separate from that task and go and deal with that separately. So in other situations, maybe for you, you are about to send your portfolio out, but you're really nervous. So even though the task itself is quite simple, it's probably also sending an email, picking up a phone to make a phone call, replying to someone, like sending a DM on social media. Even though like typing into a keyboard or picking up a phone call or sending an email, all those are quite simple, your brain may have created all of this emotional turmoil in the background around what it means and what it's going to like cause in your life and what if they don't like you. And so with all of these things, I started to realize, and maybe it's helpful for you too as well, that what you fear is not actually doing the task. What you fear is the feeling behind it. So that's the first big thing. Once you can separate those two, you could actually have something to work with, right? So the second step is then to help yourself move through that feeling. Because once you move through the feeling, then you can actually go and do the task with a lot more ease. And you can realize that whatever the feeling is, you can handle it. Like it may be scary, it may like bring up all kinds of things for you, but once you feel equipped to handle the feeling and to realize that what you're resisting is just like a chemical response in your body, then you can actually go and move your life forward in all the ways that you want to. So one of the ways that I always use for moving through a feeling and getting curious about it and eventually being able to handle it is I actually allow myself to feel the feeling, because so often with procrastination, you are putting this thing off for weeks and weeks and you're feeling anxiety about it and you're letting it build in your head and your body, and you're not actually ever giving yourself the chance to just feel the feeling and realize you can handle whatever it is and move on. So physiologically, an emotion lasts about 90 seconds in the body. That's how long it takes for that cocktail of chemicals to rise and fall in the body. And so if you can give yourself those 90 seconds just to feel whatever it is that comes up, realizing that what you fear is just a feeling that happens in your body and you're safe and you're just going to sit in your room and feel the feeling, then it allows you to feel so much more empowered around making it through those 90 seconds and seeing whatever is on the other side of it. Now, of course, if you have experienced trauma or anything, more serious, you may want to do this with someone. You may want to work with a professional. And so want to put that out there, right? This isn't like minimizing all feelings. It's just giving you a tool if what you're facing is like, I'm nervous about putting myself out there. I'm nervous about asking for a meeting. I'm nervous about asking for a raise or putting together my portfolio or announcing my business on social media. And it's just those fears that come up around that. That's what's going to help you. And if you have more going on, then of course, get the help and support that you need and maybe have someone with you in doing this. But for anything that just feels like a run-of-the-mill fear, even if it's strong, what I like to do is just sit and get really curious, and like maybe you even set your timer for the 90 seconds and you're just like, great, okay, I've got a minute and a half of my life to just get curious about this and see what's going on. And you see what comes up. So what I like to do is notice, where does that feeling exist in my body? Like, is it in my jaw? Does it feel like tightness in my shoulders? Is it like a heat in my chest and my heart? Is it kind of a knottedness in my gut? So I try and pinpoint if I can notice where it is in the body. And if you can't, it's okay. It's just getting kind of curious, like I said. And then you want to see if you notice any sensations around it. So does it feel hot? Does it feel tight? Does it feel heavy? Does it feel twisted and knotted? See what you notice about that. And see if there's any color associated or maybe a sound. I don't know. Like sometimes when I picture things, I feel like it's this red hot heat, right? Or sometimes maybe it's like dark and black. Maybe it's this kind of just like dullness. So it just allows you to get comfortable with this feeling and get to know maybe there's a lesson inside there. But our bodies hold so much. There's all kinds of books and resources on this that you can check out if you're interested. Like The Body Keeps Score is a great one. But it's all about like our bodies and how energetically they really can hang on to these emotions, and they can, if they don't have somewhere to go, then the body can hang on to those, and it manifests in tightness in our bodies and things like that. And you've probably felt that, right? If you've actually been in these scenarios, you're like, I actually do feel the feeling in my chest, or my massage therapist says I have tightness in my shoulders because of this, or maybe you have TMJ because you're always clenching. So it's a physical thing that our bodies are connected to our minds and emotions all the time, right? So to move through it, you are noticing where it exists in your body and how it exists. And what I like to do then is breathe into wherever that place is in my body, whatever the feeling is. I try and picture my breath going into that place and out from that place. And you can try and breathe in just a breath, or you can try and add breathing in like love into that spot. And try and feel the full intensity for the 90 seconds, because what I have found, and maybe you will too, is that feeling tends to rise like a wave, and it eventually crests, and then it falls. And then once you've breathed into it as much as you possibly can, and you felt it as deeply as you possibly can, there comes a point when it subsides, and it does start to lessen. And I think that's the most powerful moment, because what you've just done is you realized that you can feel that emotion that you have been fearing for weeks or months or years maybe. And in a minute and a half, in 90 seconds, you can feel the intensity of that feeling and realize that you can survive it and you can get to the other side of it. What that does then is it allows you to go back to that task that you're so afraid of, and to realize that you have already felt the thing that you fear. And so it lessens it. You've moved to the other side. You've like sat through the intensity of it, and you've gotten to the other side. So surely you can do this task And if it brings up every possible fear you can have, or whatever the emotion is, it doesn't have to be fear. It could be like dread. It could, but everything has a root, right? Like everything goes back to fearing something, worrying about something, not looking forward to something. So if you can feel all of that and get to the other side, you don't really have to fear this task, because no matter what, you have felt the fullness of whatever you are fearing and dreading by doing the task, right? You've already felt it, so there's nothing left to fear. Does that make sense? So for me, that really helps the process of number one, okay, what is this task and how simple is it really? Is it just pressing a button? Is it just literally posting on social media? Is it just picking up my phone? And then what's the thing I'm fearing behind it? What's the feeling that I'm afraid to actually feel? That's the second piece. The third one is feeling it, getting acquainted with that feeling and feeling the fullness of it for those 90 seconds and allowing it to really rise and then fall and get to the other side of it. And then you get to do the thing, right? So if you've already felt the feeling, go and do the simple task. And you can even try and allow yourself some comfort after. So sometimes it helps me to remember that after I send that email, let's say I'm pitching a new client and I'm kind of nervous about how it will go, then I know that after I can go and take a bath and I can regulate my nervous system. I can go and take a walk. I can call a friend, and I can bring myself off of that cliff of feeling this is bringing up all the feels, to what calms me, what soothes my nervous system. You don't have to stay in that place of heightened emotion and just leave yourself there. You have so many tools to bring yourself back to center. I have a whole nother podcast episode on this about how think about what you'll be doing after that big scary thing. And that just can help kind of future cast your brain to, oh, there is a moment after this thing. So all of those are ways that have helped me when it comes to submitting a piece of work, when it comes to announcing something new, when it comes to posting something I'm kind of nervous about or that feels vulnerable, and helps me again separate the task from the feeling, to move through the feeling, get curious about it, and to really just feel more empowered, knowing that whatever feeling comes up, I can handle it. It's okay. It's just a feeling that my body is making exist within it. And so often it's our brains just trying to keep us comfortable, right? It's trying to just say that this is unknown, so it feels scary, but it doesn't mean it's wrong. Just because something feels uncomfortable doesn't mean it's wrong. It just means it's new. And so kind of knowing that and allowing yourself to just remind your brain of those things. And then the last thing that I try and remember is just, is it worth what's on the other side? Why do you want to do this task anyway? Maybe you want to announce a new product you're selling because you want to build a business. Maybe you want to take a leap from corporate because you want more fulfillment, building something of your own. Maybe you want to send the email because you want to get more clients. All of those things are worthwhile, right? They're probably worth the fear that you'll feel to get what's on the other side. And so if you can answer that that is true for you, then sometimes it helps to just remember why you're doing this thing. It's not for no reason. It's not to make yourself uncomfortable. It's to move your life or your business or your dreams forward. And so whatever fear you have to get through, whatever person you have to become to get to the other side, is part of the journey. It's the rite of passage, and you've got this. You can do it. You were born for this. That's why you feel the call to do this thing, because something in your life is calling you towards that journey. So I believe in you. Let me know in the comments what this sparks for you, what fear you have been dreading, what simple task maybe you've been putting off, and now maybe feel like you can handle. What's the feeling on the other side of that you're so afraid of? And let me know how it goes trying it out. Thank you so much for being here, and I will chat with you again next week. Thank you so much for listening in. If you enjoyed this episode, check out the links in the show notes or on my website, hijessicajohnson.com, where you can find my books, courses, and opportunities to mentor with me. Or if you haven't yet, I would so appreciate a quick review wherever you listen to this podcast, as it helps others discover it too. Thanks again for being part of this community, and I'll talk to you again soon.